All right, so today we're talking about 12 powers, the 12th power of life itself. And I want to start with seeing how far we've come, because this is, if you've been here the whole time, you're 8 weeks in, right? So the first week we talked about faith, imagination, and then will, and then wisdom, judgment, then understanding, release, and power. And today we're talking about life. That's a lot, you guys. Yeah? How many's been here for the entire time? Awesome. That's okay. You got to go back and watch the videos if you weren't here. So you have a little assignment. So today's power is life, represented by Judas. I don't know why that Judas ended up there, but it seems counterproductive. But in any case, really what it represents is with Judas is the letting go and the re-emergent of the next disciple that comes along. And the power color is red, as you can see. And its origins in the body, as we've talked about, is the reproduction organs. And I'm going to stay away from that in this talk. Because that just seems like a minefield going in there, so that's not something I want to talk about. Just look it up on your own when you get home, if you're interested. But Charles believed regarding life, let's talk about life on a deeper level, because as with all of these powers, there's layers. There's layers to it, right? So Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, believed regarding life that God is life. God is life. And that life is a principle that was made manifest in the living. Okay, life is a principle that was made manifest in the living. Principle. What do we mean by that? Well, how many of you have ever cut, like, leaves off of a plant? Right? Yeah. And then you stick them in water, right? To kind of reroot them. I did this one last week. Last week I did that. But when a plant is in a pot, it's seeking out water, right? The roots go down, or a plant needs to seek out. But in this case, it doesn't have to seek anything out. So the plant in the pot knows what? To grow. The principle behind growth is water. So it innately knows what to do. But what happens if you put it in water? It doesn't have to seek anything. It just grows. It grows because the principle behind it is growth. It has everything it needs already. Ooh. We're going to think about that one a little bit later. Yeah? So principle, what is principle? It's a fundamental truth that gives you a set or a foundation of a belief system or behavior or reasoning. How many of you are good at math? Be proud, because I'm not. So, yes, math, that is not my strong suit. I was the one in high school that took Algebra 1 and then couldn't get to Algebra 1 to Algebra 2, so they made Algebra 1B. That would be me. And then in college, I just repeated algebra again for several times. And then finally, when I get through college, I go into the workforce and I have to take this test. And, I passed the English side, but not the math side. So I was getting frustrated. You get frustrated. And then things like this would come up. You can show the slide. And I'm like, first, outer, inner, last. So I went to a math teacher and I said, I got to pass this test for my certification. What am I doing wrong? And he said, well, first of all, you're trying to figure it out. Don't try and figure it out. It's not to figure out. It's a game. There's a formula to it. There's a principle behind the math. And so if you understand that in any test that you take, you will always have a question that asks you, how long is the shadow with the flagpole? Or how long is the shadow with the wall? As soon as you see that they're asking you how long something is, then you use this formula to it. And I'm like, oh. They're always going to ask you how much carpet will go into this room or how much tile. And when you see that question, that's just what they're asking for. And I went, oh, wow. And I passed the test the next time. Because it was like I kept trying to figure it out. But there's always a formula to it. Life force behind every life principle. There's universal laws that govern growth out there in the universe, in us, in the stars, in the planets. There's a universal law that does that. And all people that have studied metaphysics, there's one universal principle that we come back to, and that is the I am, which I'm going to talk about. But I was looking at this math thing, and I went, this kind of hit me when I was preparing for my talk. Can you go to the next slide? Faith in omnipresent infinite life. I like that foil. That's the foil I'm going to remember. Faith in omnipresent infinite life. The formula. So 2 words that encompass all of life. I am. You agree? I am. So we're going to look at the Gospel of John. We're going to look at John because John is the book that Unity tends to turn to because it's more metaphysical. The stories in John are more metaphysical. And we're going to talk about the I am statements that Jesus gave. So here we go. Hold on tight. So Jesus said, in the first statement, he gave 7 of them. The first one, he said, I am the bread of life. I am the bread of life. Now, understand that you have, historically and contextually, he had just done the miracle of feeding the 5,000. So he always spoke in terms that the disciples could understand or people around them could understand. So he wanted them to understand that you are physically fed, but you are also spiritually fed. And it's important, I tell you, as someone that practices, be spiritually fed. Seek. If there's a longing inside of you and you're not quite getting what it is that you need spiritually, seek. Because it will come. There's an urging that's pulling you. That's the life of spirituality that's pulling you somewhere. And that's great. That's great. The next one. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. Now, he made this statement after a festival or the Feast of Tabernacles. And what they do is they light a candle on the woman's side of the temple. And it signifies the ancestors and how they were guided by a light through the wilderness. And so, he's talking in terms that they understand. But all life is affirmed by light. And that's a small word to encompass a big concept. Right? So science has proved over time that light is in the universe, even in the darkness. Slivers of light. And the one thing that I don't remember where I heard it, but I just like this sentence. Light as God bears witness to all of life itself. Light bears witness to itself. So think about that. What does that mean? What it means is that we're not only able to access the light, but we are able to witness the results. We can see. We can envision, and then it manifests. So all the light, as you know, on the one level is the sun, is required for all of life, right? So there's the physical the physical means, and then there's the internal. we're able to access this light force within us, or this life within us. 3, I am the door. Now, shepherds at that time put their sheep in pens without doors. And so one way to protect them is they would lay across the opening. So that's what Jesus is referring to, because he's talking to shepherds and other people that would understand the concept that I am the door. I am the protector. I am a new way of thinking. I am a new way of thinking. How many doors open for you, or you need to open? How many do you need to close? We could have a whole talk on just doors and the metaphors of doors, right? Opening and closing of doors. He was teaching that God included everyone. He was opening the door at a time when other people were not. Right? Next statement. I am the good shepherd. I am the good shepherd. He would go on to say that I would lay down my life for a sheep, but not just my sheep, your sheep. Everyone. Our physical world includes our need and the responsibility to participate in life with the people around you. Okay? You have to participate. And it can be complex. Yes. Yes. But we must pay attention with all of our senses that we go through life and we see something arise. A friend that might need a shoulder to cry on. Somebody needs a helping hand. Participate. Pay attention. And I'm going to say that act as if no one's watching. You've heard that phrase before. Act as if someone's watching. Well, to me, that's an ego statement. Act as if no one was watching. Because it's the right thing to do. You with me? And not to bring the house down energy-wise. But one day, this might be that. One day I was driving here actually to church, and there was unfortunately a duck had been hit, and he was in the road. But standing next to the duck was another duck. He wouldn't leave the duck. Now I watched cars go by. I pulled over. Because why? Then we ended up with 2 in the road. And it hit me that this duck was mourning or trying to protect the one that was in the middle of the road. So I moved him off to the side of the road. No one was watching, but it was the right thing to do because I'm a participant in the cycle of life. It was the right thing to do. And I move on about my day. No one was watching. The next one. I am the resurrection and the life. Take a deep breath. And release. This one sentence and the next one can bring up some feelings, maybe, in you. And that's okay. Because if it brings up any kind of feeling, then that's something that you process for your journey. Right? Look at it. Is it a closed door, open door? So I'm going to read what the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says. The resurrection is the uplifting of the whole man into Christ's consciousness, spirit, soul, and body. The resurrection lifts up all the faculties, all the powers that we've been talking about, until they conform to the idea of divine mind, oneness. Okay, Charles said, these 12 powers are speaking of and can be used in positive way or a negative way. In fact, Reverend Harold last week said this. We can affirm compassion, harmony, and peace, or we can take control and manipulate. You agree? It is through the aging process. We are all born, and organically we transform over our lifetime, right? And we change every single day. We change every single day in mind, body, and spirit. So it would be easy to say that we are resurrected every day. Every day. I resurrected this. Okay. Could have thrown it away, right? But I went, no, I want more plants. So I'm going to seed it. I'm going to seed it. Be present in life. Faith in omnipresent, infinite life. Okay, number 6. I am the way, the truth, and the light. And some of you in your head might have finished that sentence. And I will tell you, we're going to talk about it in a second, okay? But this section where Jesus said this is in the upper room, and he opened it with, do not let your hearts be troubled, because he had told them it was time, right? So he was just trying to comfort his followers with this statement. The way was what they called early Christianity, and we can find that in Acts. The way is what they called it. I am the way, the truth, I am, and the life, principle, the energy behind all things. I am both human and divine. And you know what? So are you. So are you. You are the way, the truth, and the life. Now, we get hung up on a little bit with the next part of that says, no one comes to the Father except through me. I'm going to just approach this and say that there are times that has been used to separate people. I grew up in a religion Southern Baptist, that would use that. And at that time, the frameworks and the religion and the denomination worked for me. But then I evolved organically, right? Organically. So if there is some type of barrier, or you're feeling some energy around this phrase, then I encourage you to look at that. Look at that. Go to meditation with it, pray with it, so that it doesn't block you off from the internal life, right? Or life as substance. Jesus meant this phrase as a way to enter an abundant life, not to cut people off. So in unity, we would be careful about our words, right? We want to affirm life. Affirm life. Now I want to if Reverend Harold brought up a personal thing last week, and I felt like at the time I wanted to say something, but I want to say something now. In his thing that he brought up last week, his diagnosis, I want to say be careful about what we call metaphysical malpractice. Metaphysical malpractice is what? Telling somebody that you did not affirm positively or enough, and that's why you're sick. That is the worst thing that you can do. That is not affirming life. That is not affirming life. So be careful of your words. We use affirmations and denials. There are times in life when you will need support, and that could be from the medical community. No one in Unity ever said don't go to the medical community, okay? So affirm life, affirm life. The last statement, I am the true vine. I am the true vine. He said this again in the upper room, And the vine and vineyards at that time, the vine is the main part that feeds the branches, right? So that's what he meant by that. I am the vine, and the faculties or the powers are the branches. Okay? All right. So all of these statements are about life itself. Would you agree? Yes. But we are both human and nature, and we are human and divine, right? So I want you to think of these teachings. This is what we know, that Jesus taught this over 2,000 years ago. It's pretty set. But what is not set is the evolution of life that has happened since then. So we can look back and go, this is what he said, right? But we have evolved. We have evolved as a species, spiritually and intellectually, we have evolved. And so we can look at the Bible and we then turn it into like a metaphysical meaning to us. What are we saying? Let's put it in unity terms, okay? Jesus said, I am the bread of life. I heard, I am the substance of life. He said, I am the light of the world. I heard, I am the light of life. I am the door. I am open to all of life. He said, I am the good shepherd. And I say and heard, I am the good shepherd of life. There's no change on that one. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the divinity of life. I am the true vine. I am the way and the truth and the life. I am the truth and the life. I am the true vine. I am one. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. The power of life goes so much deeper than our human experiences. And one of the things about the power is that we can talk, well, how do I talk about power without using power? How do I talk about life without using life, right? It's a little harder. And there are days that you can use these powers, faith, imagination, wisdom, release, and you use them positively and with no issues, and life just kind of goes and flows. And then there are days this is not working at all, right? This is not working. And that's okay. That's okay. Because as long as we keep taking action, we keep making decisions and expressing how we feel, and we meditate and pray, we are participating in life. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'm going to say these phrases again. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. Because what we want to do is become really the water and the plant at the same time. And we really want to get in touch with our I am. Because behind all of life is I am. I am. So Jesus said, I am the bread of life. I am the substance of life. Together, I am the substance of life. He said, I am the light of the world. I am the light of life. Together, I am the light of life. I am the door. I am open to all of life. Together, I am open to all of life. I am the good shepherd. I am a good shepherd of life. Together, I am a good shepherd of life. I am the way and the truth and the life. I am truth and life. Together, I am truth and life. I am the vine. I am one. Together, I am one. Keep your eyes closed. Take a deep breath. Relax. Push aside any feelings, thoughts of this morning or your circumstances. Take a deep breath and relax. And repeat silently. I am the substance of life. I am the light of life. I am open to all life. I am a good shepherd of life. I am divinity of life. I am truth in life. I am one. I am substance. I am light. I am open. I am good. I am divine. I am truth. I am. Take a deep breath. I am substance. I am light. I am open. I am good. I am divine. I am truth. I am. I am. I am. Take that into the silence. I am. I am the giver and receiver of life. I am the vine, the one. I am present in my life. I am connected to this unending, infinite life. I am part of a whole, and in that I am whole. Stay present in the moment. Life is in the moment. I am truth. I am divine. I am good. I am open. I am light. And I am substance. I am life itself. And so as you come back into this space, I encourage you to hold on to the thought that you are part of life. You are life itself. And when the many layers of life, with the many layers of life, you are a part of every layer. And so you are good, open, divine truth, and you are one. And so it is.